born and raised in Chicago, and I walk the streets with the people, and I've been there most of my life.
Play the way the city is defined. You know, they're a blue-collar type city, and people like to see hard workers, and that's the way we've won.
Let's go now! Get up! Get up! Get up!
It's a great feeling to be playing in a city that's just so crazy about their sports.
The crowd in the stadium coming to its feet.
What do the Bulls mean to Chicago? Mean everything.
Chicago Stadium explodes to life.
They force you to play hard. They reward you with their love and attention. I've never seen people who deserve it more.
For your Chicago Bulls!
That's why I love the city of Chicago. They want to push you. They feel that you always can be better than what you think, and they want to push you and make the best come out of you. And I guess for all the pushing, this is a reason that we want to win it so badly.
The Chicago Bulls ended the 1984 season with the second worst record in the NBA and a 19-year history of unfulfilled championship dreams. But that spring would not be remembered as a time of disappointment, but rather as the dawning of a new era.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan.
Here's Jordan down the middle all the way. Here's Michael Jordan on the drive. Oh, got it! He put it in. Look at this crowd up on their feet. There's a kaboom. Jordan was 41. And they love it here in the stadium. Oh, yeah, the fans sense what's happening right here.
The Bulls suddenly possessed the most exciting player in basketball. And as Michael Jordan soared, so too did the battered hopes of Chicago fans.
The expectations grew each year. Beginning of the season, you want to take it further. They started to expect you to go further.
Chicago had found a hero to deliver them from the NBA's depths. But to mount an assault against basketball's elite, he would need reinforcements. In 1985, John Paxson was signed as a free agent to join Jordan in the backcourt. 1987 brought rookie forwards Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen, making the Bulls one of the NBA's most promising young teams.
We were tremendously excited because we felt we had gotten two young athletes, two guys who could run and jump and were quick and had all the athletic skills we wanted.
In 1988, the final piece to the puzzle was seemingly put into place as center Bill Cartwright was acquired by trade. It had now been 4 long years since Jordan's arrival, and Chicago's climb to the top of the NBA seemed complete. But their championship blueprint would not bring immediate success, only growing pains, as the Bulls found out that their true journey was just beginning.
Well, it started out down a dirty road.
Jordan is upset.
Started out
Saw the look from Jordan, who was not happy about
all alone.
It was real tough after our first year. People looked at it that Michael didn't have that supporting cast, and so the pressure was on then for us to start developing his players.
Here's Scottie Pippen on the... Ran into a dead end and lost it out of bounds.
Who beat you down?
He's had 2 shots now and didn't have control of either one.
Break your heart.
Lost his footing and lost the ball.
Steal your crown.
Ran all the way. He missed the dunk.
But I ain't got wings.
Walking lane to Cartwright. He lost it out of bounds.
Coming down is the hardest thing.
We knew that if we were going to be a good team, that we'd have to have other people step up and do the job.
Scottie coming hard on the drive. Takes it all the way to the rack.
But I ain't got wings.
Offensive rebound. Horace Grant was there.
Is the hardest thing.
I think each one of us took it upon ourselves to make each one of us better players. And the coaching staff, they were definitely patient with us, and I think the patience paid off.
He hasn't been called on often, but Johnny Pax has delivered when it's been asked.
Things don't happen overnight. You don't gel as a team overnight. The chemistry has been a few years in the making. And we've gotten more comfortable with each other on the floor, more confident in our abilities as a group. It's a combination of so many things.
Pippen on the drive, spins it off to Horace Grant. He lays it in and draws the foul.
Beautiful play, beautiful. Well, it started out.
Hard right finds Paxson.
For God knows where.
What a pass, what a play.
I guess I'll know when I get there.
Somehow you just have to unite and stay together and grow as a team, as a whole, not as individuals, but as a whole. And I think that's what we did. We grew as a whole.
But what goes up?
Double team on Jordan. 3 seconds left.
Must come down. And let it fly. I'm learning to fly.
By the end of the 1990 season, the Bulls had reached the conference finals for 2 straight years, only to be eliminated each time by the eventual champion Detroit Pistons. As they looked ahead to the franchise's 25th season, the Bulls knew that they had reached a crossroads. They could no longer cling to the identity of a team on the rise. If their championship dreams were ever to become a reality, they knew that the 1991 season would have to be the time.
I mean, it was something that we said, wait till next year, we're going to get back, and we're going to overcome this hill that we keep getting up to and can't get over.
The 1991 season began with a familiar pattern.
Wide left, Pippen. 3 seconds. Jordan's force-up shot to the left. Oh, yes! Win. Michael Jordan saves the day.
There were spectacular victories, and there were painful losses.
Boston wins over the Boston Celtics. Come from behind and knock off the Bulls.
While the Bulls had grown together as a cohesive team, their success still seemed ultimately to rest in the hands of Michael Jordan.
Jordan, and he goes to work, and it's blocked. Here come the Bulls to the lead. Larry Robinson takes it to the hook. And that's the ball game as the Bulls hold on to win it.
If the Bulls were to take the final step in their maturation, they would have to learn to share more equally in that burden.
You can't have a guy that averages 35 or 38 a game and win championships. Other guys have to be involved.
23 seconds ahead of Paxson. Yes! Paxson, one-foot shooting.
The adjustments that the Bulls would make were subtle ones, but they would prove to be all important. For Michael Jordan's teammates, the challenge was no longer physical. It was psychological.
How many coaches would have the courage to sit Michael Jordan down in a 2-point game or a tie ball game with 4 minutes to go and then have the team respond and go up 4?
I felt the team needed to be able to exist on their own a little bit on the court. They needed to have some internal direction, the ability to have poise and confidence on the floor.
Yes, the way it's to be done.
As his teammates began to assert themselves, Michael didn't give up his role as leader. Instead, he redefined it.
My role on this team as a leader is a utility man. Step in and plug in the holes wherever we're lacking something.
As the season progressed, the Bulls seemed to find new heroes every night. And a different way to win.
Greer falls down, and Cartwright steals the ball. Jordan, Michael blowing in, feeds Pippen for the chin. Powerhouse!
As the Bulls headed to the All-Star break, their new philosophy of shared responsibility had everyone contributing. Even during the All-Star weekend itself, they would receive an important contribution.
How about the rotation? There's 8. There's 9. Craig will sit down now. He's ready for the finals. Put on the show, Craig.
Fans have been waiting for this.
12 in a row. Unbelievable. He hasn't missed yet. Unbelievable. trying to defend his championship.
Craig's got this great attitude. He comes out, he's got himself up, he wins a three-point shooting contest. It's just a big lift.
Going into the second half of the season, the Bulls were ready to take their play to the next level, and their home court would help them do it.
When you go in the stadium, you hear those 18,000 plus screaming and hollering. You feel it through your bones.
The stadium roars to life. Listen to the crowd in the stadium.
You're never tired at the stadium. You know, on the road, you can get winded and you need to time out, but at the stadium, you never get tired there.
They're getting a standing ovation here in Chicago Stadium for a great come from behind.
Well, the stadium means a lot to me and to my team. The noise, the intimidation factor, all these things are in our favor when we play at the stadium.
The Bulls would put their home court advantage to good use. With 2 long homestands ahead of them, it was time to make their move.
Coast to coast for the jam. Showtime. Poster time. Hands to Pippen on the drive for the strong pushing around Stockton all the way to the rack. Yeah. Wow.
When Detroit was hurting, and I think it was a couple game up on Boston. We smelled the blood.
Armstrong. DJ works in front court, a long bounce and again for the dunk. Bulls have got it in overdrive now. Oh my, yes, sir.
Just in a zone where we felt like we weren't going to lose.
23 seconds ahead to Paxson. Another 3 by Pax. Yes! Yes!
It's unbelievable. It's something that no one can stop. You know you're going to have that groove, and it's just going to continue.
Down before Jordan, wham with the right hand within 3 seconds. Livingston from about 60 feet nails it at the buzzer. Oakley tries to save. It's up for grabs. Pippen with a 30-footer on the way. Yeah! There's Jordan in deep on Elo. Oh, yeah! Oh! And as they have done so often, they win going away.
We've had so many games this past season in which we've been able to sit our starters in the fourth quarter. We've just been able to overrun teams.
Hodges around to Purdue, screen back to Will, in for the layup. It's a 21-point lead. Strips it from him. Pippen on a 2-on-1 behind it back. Wilkins rejected. Wilkins rejected. Consecutive blocks by Jordan. And it's a 2-on-1. Look out. Jordan. Showtime continues for the Chicago Bulls. Jordan past Petrovic.
Oftentimes, the game is won before you get started because teams see what you've been doing and say, well, let's just go into the stadium and get our lumps and go home.
Extended the 5-point lead. Ahead to Pippen off to Cartwright. He lays it in. Let's see if the Bulls can make it a 40-point lead by halftime. And there's a new top dog in the NBA East. It's Michael Jordan and the Bulls as they move ahead of Boston. Yeah! Yes!
As the season drew to a close, the Bulls had left the Pistons and the Celtics trampled in their wake. Collecting a franchise record 61 victories, they had stormed to the best record in the East, assuring themselves of the home court advantage through the conference finals. Going into the playoffs, they were riding a tidal wave of momentum. But their attitude reflected the lessons of playoffs past.
By and large, everybody became very dedicated to the fact that we had to prove on the court what we had the year before, that we could play under pressure.
The first opponent, unlucky enough to find themselves in Chicago's path, were the New York Knicks. And the Bulls simply stampeded over them.
Shoots from there. Rimming, no. Pippen the rebound. Here come the Bulls storming into the front court. Here's Armstrong in left back to Pippen. Oh! In his face!
You make one mistake and boom, we're off. We're up the floor dunking the basketball.
The Bulls would never let the flustered Knicks into the series as they overwhelmed them in 3 games.
Pippen, a facial. Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, a move by Jordan. Oh, please, let's see that again. 100 times.
In sweeping past the Knicks, the Bulls had put on a classic Chicago jam session. But against their next opponent, the Philadelphia 76ers, they would unveil a lesser-known part of their arsenal, their defense.
That's going to be the difference in the ballgame. We're going to need to squeeze that ball out of their hands a little bit.
And from the outset, the Bulls suffocated the Sixers with a swarm of defensive pressure.
Phil's idea was to take advantage of Michael and Pippen, who just fly around like sleek Dobermans.
Michael Jordan was Oh, my. As Anderson couldn't find the shot. 2 on the 24, and Pippen stole it from Anderson. Scottie Pippen all the way. What a move.
We rely on our defense to create offense for us, get steals, get easy runouts, dunks.
Left side, Hodges, a steal, tipped it loose to Pippen. Scottie ahead to Armstrong. Back to Pippen for the jam.
As the series wore on, Philadelphia began to crumble beneath the Bulls' relentless onslaught.
We felt that in the process of putting that kind of pressure on the team that we physically felt them weaken.
Dispatching the Sixers in 5 games, the Bulls had methodically marched through the playoffs' first 2 rounds. And now, the challenge they had awaited all season long was finally at hand.
The Bulls go back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 3rd year in a row, hoping that the 3rd time will definitely be a charm.
18,000 have turned out at Chicago Stadium for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final.
As they looked across at the Pistons, the Bulls knew that their moment of truth was at hand. They were about to confront not only Detroit, but also the ghosts of Pistons' past.
Here come the Pistons.
Look at the block by Rodman.
The Bulls throw it away.
The Pistons have now a return trip ticket to the Eastern Conference Final.
This is a team that we didn't like, and they were at a point where we were trying to get. So it was tough to swallow.
Again, it's the dirty work. Detroit wants it more at this point.
They feel like they could beat us at will.
And time is beginning to run out for the Chicago Bulls.
We were tired of this feeling. You know, I still remember the pain.
And the Pistons are under a minute from getting to the NBA Finals for the 2nd straight year.
We were in total despair. They had done it to us again. They had beaten us.
The winner of this game plays Portland for the NBA title.
Michael's not doing it today. You ain't gonna do it today. Do it today. Do it today.
Robert, and the Pistons want to make Jordan pay.
They do the little things that frustrate us.
And the Bulls overreact, and Pippen lost his cool for a moment.
We fell apart, and the pressure that we had on us came to play.
Chicago Bulls continue to frustrate themselves and their fans.
3, 2, 1. It's over. The Pistons return to the NBA Finals for the 3rd straight time.
For the Bulls, the playoffs have yet to begin. They do start today.
As a unit, we knew that this year we were going to have to get by Detroit. I mean, we could make no more excuses.
And this year's annual confrontation would finally be played under Chicago's terms.
We had any confidence at all. It was the fact to know that we were going to play with the home court advantage. That was crucial because we knew we could beat these guys at home.
The Bulls had worked all season long to change the series setting. Now, they were determined to change its plot.
It's not going to be the same story.
Boldly revising the script, Chicago fearlessly took aim at the heart of the Pistons' defense.
Jordan with Dumars, takes him into the lane, hands it off to Horace Grant inside, he lays it in. Jordan putting the move on
The Bulls on fire.
Detroit sounded the alarm and called upon their bench to match fire with fire.
Shoots under pressure. Good.
And everybody's saying their bench is better than ours. They're rougher than you guys. They're more aggressive. You guys don't want to tangle with these guys. These guys are going to lose just like you did before. When it came down to play them, the bench, we took it all upon ourselves. We said, look here, we have to go out there and show it to them.
Rising to the occasion, the Bulls bench would make their message clear.
Oh, what a pass. Livingston from Armstrong. Livingston making a major contribution here. McGuire working off a double team stop by Purdue. Armstrong for Hodges.
Leading the Bulls past the Pistons, Chicago's inspired reserves would make a statement not only to Detroit, but also to their teammates.
I think after that first game, I think guys were looking at each other like, hey, we can beat these guys.
Through the years, defense had been the trademark of Piston playoff supremacy. Now, a confident Bull team sought to beat Detroit at their own game.
Gets underneath, has the shot blocked by Pippen. Super defensive play by Scotty. Pippen on the drive, left corner Paxson. He comes up shooting, good. Yes, sir! Grant, McGuire baseline right, doubled up, had it chopped away. Hurt right ahead to Jordan. Michael on the drive, in on Vinnie Johnson, all the way to the hoop and lays it in. Oh, there's panic all over the Pistons' faces.
And as Detroit had once done to Chicago, the Bulls would now smother the hapless Pistons.
And was able to steal, leading to the...
Practically reduced to the role of spectators by the Bulls' relentless defense, the Pistons were left with only one option.
They would have to accept the beating that we was given.
An exasperated Detroit team had taken their lumps at the hands of Chicago. But the ever-defiant Pistons retained their swagger.
Usually we'll capitalize in that situation, but, you know, we're a great team, back-to-back world champions. We'll be back.
We're not just going to go down without a fight. I mean, a serious fight. The next game they win, if they win, it's going to be the hardest game that they've ever had to play in their lives.
True to their words, the Pistons employed their personal brand of survival tactics.
We had to take the physical aspect of their game, and we talked about playing through that kind of thing, and the guys were ready to do that, and they were mentally very tough.
Refusing to be intimidated, the Bulls calmly executed to perfection.
A battle between Jordan and Dumars, and then Jordan collided with McGuire. Shot clock is at 2. Pippen, yes.
I got hit with the elbow, and I went down a little bit, and I got up and I was angry. And Michael came over and he said to me, relax, just, don't worry about it, and don't let them see you hurt. If they see you hurt, they're gonna come after you more and more, so just smile and walk away, because it was all out of frustration.
Wire switching off on Pippen. Look out, Pippen sent flying. He knew he was going to get hit.
In the past, we would break down mentally and become individuals, which is the way they want you to be. But as a unit, when everybody's contributing, we were very strong, and we were able to overpower them.
Michael dribbles out to Pippen. Left side Paxson. He comes up shooting. It's in. Oh, Johnny Paxson. Yes. Stuck on automatic.
Unable to slow Chicago's attack, the Pistons would cling to their game plan, waiting for their pressure to rattle the Bulls.
No, listen. They don't execute great in this situation. They'll throw up a wild shot if you play good defense.
But the Pistons would wait in vain.
Sequence by Detroit. Shot clock and 2. Yes, and it counts.
With the game slipping away, it would be the Pistons who would lose their composure. Detroit's pregame predictions had turned out to be empty promises. They had badly underestimated the Bulls, and now it was Chicago's turn to prognosticate.
I felt like we was going to sweep them. Man, I've said it before the series even ended that we were going to sweep this team.
Pippen and the Bulls had put the specter of past defeats behind them. They would now look to complete their sweep. And Detroit could do nothing to stand in their way.
More than anything else, Scotty showed more discipline. He didn't retaliate, he didn't cry to the referees, he just played basketball. And I think that showed them that they couldn't intimidate us. And after they couldn't intimidate us, I think they felt like we were a better ball club.
Get him! Right here, bang you!
We knew we were in the driver's seat when they were reacting out of frustration.
Totally dominating the Pistons, the Bulls reveled in their long-awaited vindication.
It was a great feeling for these players to know that they had such control and such domination of a team which had put us through so many grinding times together.
Who would have thought sweep?
I was always very confident that we could beat this team. And I felt this year when we faced them, we were ready. You know, we believed in ourselves. We believed in the system that we've been under for the last couple of years. And it's gratifying when you get to that point.
Everything that they had always thought that they could take from us, we had took it back.
With Detroit's hasty exit, the Piston nightmare was finally over. And for the first time, the Bulls were moving on.
To get past those guys was almost a championship, but not quite.
In beating Detroit, the Bulls had dispelled any remaining notions that they were just the Michael Jordan show, as they even accepted the MVP trophy as a team.
Award to Michael Jordan.
But that was not the story that the media chose to focus on, as the Bulls prepared to meet the Lakers in the finals.
This series tends to be, at least in the public mind, Air Jordan against the Magic Man.
There's no question, you're not going to avoid the Magic Michael thing.
Well, they're calling it the Dream Series, Magic versus Michael. I know that the whole team's involved, but it's just, that's the way it's going to be played. You can blame LA for this, right?
Well, it's a big media hype. We know that, and it's very important for me as a player, and one of the main focal points is to not take away from the team.
If the Bulls were to retain their focus as a team, they would have to weather an unprecedented media barrage.
No, I don't see myself getting into butterflies.
Oh, I have butterflies now.
It won't bother me. I mean, this is a chance of a lifetime.
Page 2 is first, Andy.
Stand by the pin on 7. South to 5. Beat LA! Bulls t-shirt!
Yeah, who's next here? All the way.
Get the wrong graphics up there to recycle. Go Silver.
You are looking at Chicago Stadium, and they are basketball crazy here in Chicago as we approach the start of the NBA Championship Series.
The keyed-up Bulls charged into their first final with raw emotion and raw nerves.
Michael lost the handle on the dribble to Devon. Cartwright backs in, left baseline, turnaround jumper, air ball.
But while Chicago struggled to shake their opening jitters, the more experienced Lakers looked to take quick advantage as Magic Johnson calmly directed their methodical attack.
6:50 to go in the first period. Great inside pass entry from Magic to Worthy, who lays it in off the window.
Dictating the tempo, the Lakers seized control early and had the normally high-octane Bulls stuck in neutral.
Now we got to go out first stop this time and start playing basketball. Now get your confidence back. Be aggressive.
Get up! Get up! Scotty on the move, now to Jordan, in for the right, for the... Whoa!
Taking their cue from Jordan, the Bulls were finally off and running, forcing the Lakers into transition and storming back into the game.
3-on-2. Pippen. Oh, what a move by Scottie Pippen.
With their lead cut to 1, the Lakers would again look to Magic, who would provide not one answer,
Magic with a three-point shot. Scores!
but 2.
All right, Magic fires a three. Good! Magic
Magic Johnson has taken over with 2 3-pointers in the last minute and a half of the third period.
A weary Jordan would again look to respond, but he would not do it alone.
Don't leave Michael alone here. It's not time yet. Right. You guys are running away from your offense. Don't run away from your offense.
Chicago would once again rally around Jordan.
Stolen by Armstrong, ahead to Jordan. Back to Armstrong, now to Michael for the finish.
Good play. BJ spectacular.
With the Lakers' lead having all but vanished, both teams braced for a furious finish.
Magic is saying, calm down, calm down.
Magic with the spin. The pass off the dribble of Devon's. What a play. Magic Johnson.
Jordan guarded by Scott. Jordan turns in the lane, gets the shot up. Good on the foul on Scott.
The Bulls come out of there with it. Jordan wants to run down the left side. Pull-up jumper. Goal!
We got the lead. Right. They got to score. Make them shoot a jump shot to beat us. Right.
Oh boy, this is what coaches get paid for.
Perkins goes for 3. He's got it. He went for the shot from downtown to take the lead.
All right, here we go. One in time. Michael, if they all run at you, remember Scotty's right here. Bill's right here. Max back to him. 9 seconds. A lot of time.
Pass me the aspirin bottle. Get the oxygen tent ready. This is unbelievable. Bulls down by 1. 9 seconds to play. They lob it over the top to Jordan. Jordan gets it. Changes direction. Pull-up jumper left side.
Come on, baby, ball. Get it out, get it out.
Get it out. Ball knocked loose. Grabbed by the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers steal game 1 from the Chicago Bulls.
It felt good. It rattled and it came out.
I just knew Michael shot was going in. When I seen it, it was on target, it was up high enough. I was like, this is it. It rattled in and rattled out. I was like, oh my gosh.
A lot of distractions. We're going to have to, something LA's gone through and learned, had to deal with before. We haven't had to do that. We're going to have to learn in a hurry. We're going to win the series.
There's no question about it. This is singularly the biggest game in the 25-year NBA history of the Bulls franchise.
We felt like we were unbeatable, but, they proved us wrong, and now we got to go back to the drawing board and come up with something new.
Los Angeles Lakers are in the catbird seat after lifting the home court advantage from the Bulls. You get to this point, and they will drown you, flat drown you.
You go down like you live tonight, okay? Take this game, let's wrestle it out of their grasp and go to LA and take it.
Let's go.
All right.
Only 2 teams have ever lost the first 2 games of the finals and come back to win a championship.
Well, we know we got to win. I don't think we should panic, because when you panic, you really don't play your best basketball.
We've been in a situation a lot. We just about know what we have to do in those situations. So we're used to it.
The Chicago Bulls admit that this is the biggest game of their basketball life.
They felt they had that because we were nervous. We lost that composure, and they thought that the nervousness and the tentativeness would be there again, but it wasn't.
Led by a determined Michael Jordan, the Bulls would serve notice early that Game 1 was already a distant memory.
Michael Jordan just kind of running the show, distributing the basketball.
What a pass from Jordan.
Jordan's biggest beneficiary was a resurgent Horace Grant, who poured in 10 first-quarter points.
Here's Grant.
I got embarrassed in the first game, and I just took it upon myself to take it to him in the next game.
The Bulls had turned their game up a notch, but the Lakers would not be easily shaken.
Perkins easily around Purdue, and he served up a facial.
And although the Bulls' offense was in high gear, the complexion of the game was about to change.
And that is number 3 on Jordan.
As the Bulls found their best defender in foul trouble, Chicago would need someone to step to the forefront.
Here's Magic with the basketball. Scotty at the top, and we're taking Magic out of the ball. Got it?
The daunting task of containing the Lakers' living legend now fell upon Scottie Pippen.
To have the opportunity to play against a guy like Magic, someone that I always idolized and watched, I felt like that I had to step up and put all that behind and go up and do my best.
Notice the matchup with Pippen on Magic, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, able to bump, be physical with Magic.
Pippen's smothering defense on Magic grounded the Laker attack, while the Bulls could now set their sights on ruling the airwaves.
Jordan with the step and the bucket. Michael Jordan on fire. Jordan. Yes. The Bulls have exploded.
Rolling alley-oop pass underneath the...
Oh, it's good.
Yes! 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 Under pressure, right corner Paxson. He comes up shooting and hitting.
Johnny! Here's Pippen. The Bulls blowing the Lakers out.
Led by an unconscious Jordan, Chicago exploded, showcasing a little bit of everything, and then some.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan. That's 13 consecutive field goals.
Cliff threw it back to me, and I saw a clear lane to the basket, so I was going to dunk the ball. I exposed the ball, but then I saw long-arm Sam Perkins there, and it was just instincts to change it. I changed it to my left hand and was able to get it off.
When he came down the lane, he just, went one way, put it in one hand, floated about a 5 more yards, said, well, I don't know, and then he went off against the glass. So it was his game tonight. He really took it over in the second half. The only thing is, no matter if you get beat by 1 or 20, it's still 1-1.
The Lakers' confidence seemed well-founded as they returned home to their enchanted domain for Game 3.
It doesn't get any better than this. This is the Magic Kingdom, California.
History had not been kind to the visiting Bulls, who would never want a playoff game in this forum of champions.
If you're not nervous before a game, there's something wrong with you.
Despite their previous failings, Chicago ignored the pressure. As the game began, both teams traded shots. And in this pivotal contest, Chicago knew that the heavy artillery would soon begin their assault.
If we want it, we're going to have to take it. It's not going to be given to us. We have to get up on them and pressure them and make them work for everything they get.
But in this physical struggle, neither team was giving ground. Though the Bulls would manage to cling to a 1-point lead going into the half, they would once again find themselves in foul trouble and in need of an adjustment.
Good first half here at the Forum.
We felt like they had too much vision on the court. They were too aware and too knowledgeable players to be able to give them that much time and vision. And with foul trouble on Michael, we had to make the move. With Scotty on Magic, and we wanted to make him have to use up time on the clock.
The strategy that had befuddled LA in Game 2 now played into their hands, as the prepared Lakers quickly pounded the ball inside to Divac, who ignited an 18-2 third-quarter run.
Low to Vlade. Vlade against Jordan again. Down the middle, he gives to Worthy. Worthy gives to Perkins. Slam dunk!
The Lakers would build a commanding 13-point lead, while the Bulls searched for answers.
Beautiful passing. I like Vlade's patience.
I was wondering when Phil was going to put me in. I just sat there and waited my turn and just, I said, well, when I get in, I got to make something happen.
Cliff, if he doesn't have it, you got to step up.
Cliff Livingston would answer the call, sparking Chicago with his contagious intensity as the emotionally charged Bulls willed their way back into the game.
Checked it emphatically by Livingston. Beautiful look away. Jordan for Pippen.
The momentum had shifted.
And now it's Mike Dunleavy burning a timeout. 8:42 left in the fourth.
For nearly 4 quarters, the two teams had been locked in an epic showdown. And as the game hung in the balance, the role of hero had yet to be cast.
Now, we're fine if we communicate defensively down there in the corner series. He's got to watch Devon's reach and got to get out.
It's our game right here, baby. Come on. I'm tired.
In the game's final seconds, Vlade Divac would seemingly stumble into stardom.
For the game winner. Divac fumbled it, recovered. Yes, and it counts.
Divac's dramatic three-point play would give LA a 2-point lead.
Oh, no. 93.
And Scottie driven a 6th foul. It was now Michael Jordan's turn to take center stage and to seek redemption.
Almost like game 1 right down to the second. And the Bulls were unable to score in game 1 in the closing seconds to avoid defeat. But they're going to take at the end. They're going to take at the end of the court all the way. They have no timeouts left. Full court press. Jordan against Byron Scott. According to the lane, comes up shooting. Got it. Game tied with 3.4 left.
The Bulls would share Jordan's redemption.
When he shot, it was like, we're winning this. You know, we went overtime, we're winning this. And there was no doubt about it.
The Bulls had withstood the Lakers' charge.
Michael comes away with it. Cliff Livingston took the charge, and there was no foul call. Paxson's shot from the left is in.
The Lakers had experience and the home court on their side.
Michael spins out baseline.
But the Bulls had Michael Jordan.
Is in. A spectacular play by Jordan.
This is a bitter loss for the Lakers because they're always...
And the series lead.
Well, on that point, let's go downstairs. Mike Dunleavy, the Lakers coach, is breaking it down.
Well, we're in a ditch. Not in a hole, we're in a ditch.
Supposedly, according to some of the coaches, they were out. They practiced for a solid hour and a half on the floor. We play them, we squeeze them a little bit, make them work extra hard. If things don't work out, communicate with each other out there on the floor.
We'd have to be ready for the storm because these guys are too good to be let off the hook.
The Lakers' storm was swift in coming.
Here's Worthy. Yes.
But the Bulls were prepared for its fury. For the Lakers, victory was essential. And their aggressiveness echoed the vital nature of their quest.
Rebound AC again. Oh, is he playing his game today?
Rebounder, stay after that ball. We got to stay with it.
The Bulls were equally determined as they too fervently banged the boards.
Rebound inside though by Livingston. Score!
And as they stepped up their intensity, the Lakers' storm began to ebb.
Williams now with it. Craig Hodges driving into the front court. On ahead to Jordan. He scoops it up. Rimming. Takes him in the lane. Fadeaway jumper. Bill Cartwright hits it.
Here goes Jordan to Grant. Back to Jordan. He takes the last shot of the half and he hits it.
Up by 9 points at the half, the Bulls remained focused.
If you get them down, you want to keep them down.
Let's go get him, bro.
We're not satisfied yet.
The assault came quickly. And from every conceivable angle, as Chicago's offensive barrage kept the Lakers at bay.
John Paxson has been a crusher.
And though there was still some magic in the air as LA narrowed the gap,
Important sequence. for the Lakers. Magic, yes! And it goes!
Johnson's bag of tricks could not prevent another Bull run.
Right for the rebound. Quick outlet pass down court. Michael to Pippen who jams!
They're on the verge of giving up, boys. Just keep right at it.
They're having a hard time building the energy.
We don't have any.
The attack was unrelenting.
Again!
And suddenly, Chicago was within one game of the NBA championship.
You know, the thing about it is that I can't feel bad because they just given us a nice butt kicking.
With the title on the horizon, the Bulls were reflective.
You know, you've worked all this time to achieve the goal, and I think that when you first get in the league, all your goals are more individual.
Let's go. We gotta go out like style, baby.
As you've been in the league a little longer, you understand that the most important thing is the team, and your credibility is measured by your team's success. And winning an NBA championship is obviously the ultimate.
Let's go, let's go.
That's what we work for all season long, guys. Let's
take it home,
man. Ready? I got a lot of excitement inside of me. I guess I've been holding for about 7 years now. I think when I first came with the Bulls, it was a struggle, and we had to turn the whole situation around. Each year we saw improvement. We saw the different levels that we had to get to, and now to this ultimate level.
After 25 years, this is the game that Bulls fans have been looking for.
Let's go, Bulls! Take it home!
The Bulls with a chance to wrap up the World Championship tonight.
Good work, man. We've been waiting for this. Let's do work, all right? Let's go. 48 minutes.
Even with James Worthy and Byron Scott sidelined, the Lakers quickly showed that they were not going to simply step aside for the Bulls' coronation.
Here's Magic. He had a notion to go to the hoop. He bumped.
But as they had all series long, the Bulls were quick to respond.
Divac with a bounce pass in Jordan, a steal, tight ropes the sideline, all the way to the hoop for the dunk.
Even the fans here wanted that one.
Lonnie Divac in the face of John Paxson.
The Lakers' frustration was clear as the Bulls began to pull away.
Oh, what a shot by Bill Cartwright.
There's a steal. Michael on the breakaway. Showtime as he skies into the air. And here Jordan throws it down.
You gotta make a play on the ball. You're getting a fair shake. Just stay in here. You never know.
Searching for an answer, L.A. looked to its young bench.
No look pass underneath. Ellis Campbell with a two-handed monster jam.
But the Bulls wouldn't even break stride.
Oh, what a move by Michael Jordan. And here come the Bulls on a 3-on-2. Pippen off the hesitation dribble. A spectacular end-to-end move.
With an intensity born of desperation, the Lakers would make one final run.
Takes the return pass and tomahawk jams it through. And the crowd goes nuts here at the Forum just when it looked like the Bulls might blow out the Lakers. LA comes back with a 6-point run and they take the lead.
But Chicago's confidence was unshakable.
Tighten up. That's the term. Just tighten up a little bit. Not, all right? Not too hard. Loosen up.
It was time for the Bulls to bring their championship journey to an end. The Lakers could only helplessly watch as Chicago soared past them.
Pippen down court, throws it down.
When we run like that, you know, it's hard for any team to beat us.
The goal for which Chicago had worked so long was finally within their grasp. And as they reached for it, they also touched something within themselves.
It's not the financial rewards, but it's those minutes that we spend together in very critical times, in very pressured times on the floor and sometimes in the locker room, in which guys are of one mind and they are one effort. That is really the wonderful thing about ball.
They had grown up together. And as John Paxson brought their season to a close, they knew they had become a part of history, part of a team, part of each other.
each player understands what his role is. It's all a process of being together and understanding each other and enjoying playing with everyone. I mean, this group, we have a great bond between us.
Start to say the words, folks. The world champion Chicago Bulls. World champ, baby.
Excuse me. Final seconds. Magic's three-point attempt blocked. Pippen comes away with it. And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship. Once those three things came into play, we stood good team.
People ask me, can I fly or do I like to fly? Well, I think as a team, we've shown people that we can fly.
Hit yourself, turn around.
We want to thank the Detroit team and their fans for encouraging us to do this.
I just want to know one thing. How good does it feel, Chicago? We did it. It's been a long struggle. But we're going to be back here next year for another long struggle.